to the house. Don't feel like getting out. I'ma just lay back and crack this window. I've been doing my best, taking a moment to rest, feeling stressed out. Give it a good, I put that on God when it gets hard. Stay on my job like no days off, so you can go home with that. Jump on jealousy, my bad. Cause I've been working all day. Can a nigga catch a break? Give a pretty brown girl her space. You can keep your bitter. I'ma make a better way. Hey, hey. Told you so extra, but I know I'm the same. Love me in spite of my trauma. Give me what I need instead of the drama. When it pop off, it's like, oh my, all good all day, but the night we be going so hard on the flip side. So tell me what we on a day, babe. I could keep that same energy. When you go low, I go low too. But you'd rather stay high, I know you. Can we stay high, babe? I'd rather be on that wave, trying to control our emotions. If we on the right side of passion, we could share love in the ocean. But if you want
NathanIvey.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, closed fists, yeah, too strong. Team NI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlatives, keep it locked like the Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airways, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info about it? Hey, yo, John don't be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Wing Champ, undisputed champion of all wings. They're out on Sharonville Road in beautiful Sharonville, Ohio. If you're looking for a great place to eat, take the family, maybe you're going looking for some place for lunch today, check them out. There's a link in today's description where you can check out their full menu. Good morning to you, my friends, and welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. We are certainly living in the last days of common sense, my friends. I mean, I look at the news and it's just filled with just crazy, for lack of a better word. Let me hip you to a few things that are going on around your neighborhood, our neighborhood, and around the country and perhaps the world as well. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Now, we've been talking about the the future of transgender issues, in particular transgender athletes, for a long time now. And the good folks in the Ohio State legislature have passed a bill that could require genital checks for transgender athletes. Now, we've talked about this before, and a lot of people have expressed their, in some cases, outrage, in some cases, displeasure with the current state of affairs. So the good folks, the Republican majority in the state of Ohio, have done something about it. And they passed a bill that would ban transgender girls from female sports and also could require genital checks. Well, I mean, because if there's some kind of question about the original gender of an athlete, how else are you supposed to determine who they are and what they are? Now, this is the same Republican Party that's always talking about the Constitution and your freedoms. And here's yet another example of their hypocrisy. House Bill 151, also called the Save Women's Sports Act, says that if a participant's sex is in dispute, she must verify her sex with a physician in only the following ways. One, an exam of her internal and external reproductive anatomy. Two, her normal levels of testosterone. And three, an analysis of her genetic makeup. Now, this is the party of freedom. This is the party of 1776. This is the party of, I want to keep my guns so the government is not intruding into my life. But this is also the party that wants to tell women what to do with their bodies. And they want to do genital checks on transgender athletes. Now, personally, I feel like there should be something done about that. I don't know if we need to save women's sports, but I do think it could be an unfair advantage if you have, let's say, someone who was born biologically a male and they are participating in female competition. I stand by that. I'm saying by that. And this though seems a bridge too far, in my opinion. A classroom writes, the left has taken this country way too far. Transgender athletes are the reason for genital checks for others. I don't know if the left have taken this too far. I don't know if this is a left or right thing. I'm not sure if I believe this is a left or right thing. This is more of a cultural thing. I mean, this is where we are. It's where we are. And we all want our politicians to respond to the issues that matter to us. But is this a proper response? You tell me. 513-873-7134. You tell me. You tell me. To me, this is a bridge too far, quite honestly. And I get it. I get it. You know, there's been a lot of talk about it. There's been a lot of outrage about it. I totally understand it. I get it. I've even said myself, if my daughter was in competition, I think it's unfair, and I stand by that. But genital checks? That seems like an invasion of your privacy. Literally, like on all levels. And people are like, well, why don't trans people just get their own league? Well, I mean, until that happens, and this is what we're dealing with in the state of Ohio. This is a real thing, my friends. This is not going away. I'm not sure if it rises to the level of saying that women's sports are under attack, but maybe it is. Maybe you believe that way. But that's what it is. The bill will require an internal exam. An internal exam. And some might say, well, okay, well, how else are you supposed to determine who is who? And I would say that perhaps there are some things for which policy just can't deal with. You know what I'm saying? There's some things that policy just can't deal with. You know, that we just got to roll with it. Perhaps the transgender athlete issue is one of them. You tell me. 513-873-7134. Over the weekend, I came across an article that validated everything that I have been sharing with you in terms of my observations. In the city of Cincinnati, the streets of Cincinnati are just crazy. They're crazy. And just yesterday, I was picking up my son from uh, his summer camp, and I saw two people drive straight through the light. One of them was in like a company car. It looked like it was like a, I don't know, like a window installation service. Drove straight through the light. I cannot tell you, I cannot count how many times that has happened where I have been at the light turned greens my way, and somebody just zoomed straight through. Personally, I think it's dangerous, which we already know. It's at the point now where I always hesitate when I'm at a green light. Like if I'm in the pole position, like at the light, I'm the first person at the light turns green, I never hit the accelerator. I always wait 3 to 4 to 5 seconds. I kid you not, family. I was over on People's Corner. This was this year. It was early this year. And I was taking my daughter. Where was I taking her? I was taking her to her school. So it must have been like some extracurricular type of stuff. We're at the light. We're about to take a left. I literally must have waited about 10 seconds. I was not the car that was in the pole position. Like it wasn't my turn to turn. There was one car in front of me, literally flaming. We waited somewhere between 8 to 10 seconds. Car zoomed straight through the light. High rate of speed. 3 seconds later, another car zoomed straight through the light. High rate of speed. Now, I've been sharing my observations with you about the dangers of Cincinnati streets for a long time. Then I come across this article that says that for whatever reason, Cincinnati police are not writing speeding tickets. Like it's rare, man, for you to see somebody pulled over in the streets of Cincinnati for what appears to be like a traffic kind of thing. I don't know all behind it, but Cincinnati drivers are aware of it. Like people don't pay no mind. Some people, should I say, pay no mind to the laws. They don't care. It's like everybody's in such a big old hurry. I was at the corner of what is that? Mount Auburn or Auburn Avenue and William Howard Taft. Okay. I'm on William Howard Taft, right at the corner. I'm in the far right position. I'm in the turning lane position. I was turning a right. I was taking a right off of William Howard Taft onto Auburn Avenue. I want you to picture that. For people who know that part of town, picture that. I'm in the far right lane. I'm facing William Howard Taft, about to take a right. The car behind me zooms to my left. As this is while I'm taking a right. Zooms to my left, comes up on my left-hand side, cuts me off, and takes a right in front of me and zooms away. The streets are crazy. People just do whatever they want to do. I mean, I don't even have to tell you that somebody's going to get killed because we already know that. It is wild. It's like the wild, wild west out there. People go through lights. People try to overtake you in the turning lane. One of the biggest infractions I see all the time, and I don't understand this. Maybe I do on some levels, but I don't, because you're putting your life at risk. But one of the biggest infractions I see all the time is the lights turning. So people will park in the middle of the intersection and block traffic in all directions illegally so that they can make the turn that they want to make. You seen this? I know you have. Happens all the time in the city of Cincinnati. And people will block the entire intersection while you have the light and the right of way and just are oblivious in their own narcissism. I'm telling you, humans only care, most humans only care about themselves, period. They only care about themselves. Nobody else matters. Mofos be late. That's what it is. Mofos be late so they can get to their job to pay $15 an hour. Don't want to miss out on that $15. They don't care if they kill people. They don't care if they impede the traffic. It is what it is. We are where we are. Shit is crazy. Telling you, man. You got to say a prayer every morning when you leave your house just to get to your destination because you have no idea. People on their phones, I see that all the time. And I won't even talk about people in tinted windows, with cars with tinted windows. I won't even go there right now because I know some folks, some of the choppers, they feel like I'm talking about them. You are exempt. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody else. I know you got sense. Everybody else is crazy out here. I'm telling you, it is. We don't give a damn about our fellow man at all. At all. I had to stop some dude from letting his dog, he had like a miniature werewolf using my lawn as a bathroom. When I approached dude, at first he had a little attitude. So I got a little closer to him. And then he's like, oh yeah, oh, this is yours? Yeah. And by the way, son, where's your plastic? People just don't care. People don't care. I walk out to my yard, there's cans. It's like Freaknik. People think it's Freaknik because there's like some trees. It's a little bit of a shrouded area, like on one side of the property, and people think that's party time. So rather than just, I don't know, put your trash and your beer cans and your Pepsi Coke cans and your Taco Bell wrappers, instead of putting that in a little trash bag and throwing it away, they throw that shit straight on the ground. I'm like, where's your mama and them? Who are these people? I'm telling you, the world is crazy. Does anybody care about January 6th? Of course, remember January 6th, Trump, he whipped a bunch of people in this country into a frenzy. You had two types of people that were involved with January 6th. Some were involved because they were there, and others were invested emotionally. You had two types of people. You had the true believers. The true believers. Now, I bring this up because starting on Thursday, it's going to be a primetime televised event. The Ohio Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol is going to be, talking about this in prime time. It's going to be on Thursday. So it's the day after, Game 3 of the NBA Finals. And I'm wondering how many people are really going to watch. But let me back this up. You got two types of people that were invested or involved with January 6th. One, you had the true believers. These are the people that really believed that somehow there was a plot that the Democrats and liberal media was all involved in to steal votes from Trump voters, to install Joe Biden as the next president and over Donald Trump. Like, there are people who desperately believe that. They believe in whatever fiber they're believing. They believe in that as much as they believe in gravity. They believe in it as much as they believe in gravity, as much as they believe in their God. Ain't that some scary shit? Like, just think that for that is scary. And it's probably millions of people that believe this. They'll die believing this because they've been force-fed these lies from people that they trust in the media. Oh, stop the steal, stop the steal. Now, there have been investigations in most states. They even believe that in states where Republicans are in charge of the election process, that somehow they were in cahoots with the Democrats and George Soros and the gays and the Jews and the liberals to steal the election from Donald Trump. So what did people do? They did investigations. To this point, nothing has turned out. There seems to be no credible evidence whatsoever that anything like that happened. Donald Trump lost because he was a bad president. And what's scary is, is that if he had a more logical and common sense and even response to COVID, he probably would have won. He's acting like a damn maniac scaring the hell out of people at a time during a public health crisis. That's why he lost. Even in losing, Donald Trump received a record amount of votes for a presidential candidate that lost. Isn't that scary? So you got the true believers. And then the second type of person you got involved with January 6th are the people that know it's a damn lie, but they go along with it anyway because they're trying to use it to gain some kind of favor, more than likely some kind of political favor. Like, some of these folks, man, these congressmen and women, these Republican congressmen and women, they know what happened on January 6th. How do we know? Because we've seen the text messages through the January 6th investigation. They knew what was going on. Even like people like Sean Hannity and others sending text messages to the White House chief of staff and to Donald Trump saying, hey, bruh, you might want to slow this down. They knew what was going on. They knew what was going on. They knew Trump was out of control, but they rolled with it anyway because it benefits them in some way politically. This is the world we live in. This is the world we live in. 513-873-7134. But we are so polarized that it doesn't really matter what the January 6th investigation comes up with. It's not going to move people that are, in that first group I talked about, the true believers. It doesn't matter what they come out with. They could have a video of Donald Trump admitting that the whole thing was a lie and they wouldn't believe it. Oh, that was digitally edited. I don't believe it. This is the world we live in. This is the world we live in, my friends. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts. That's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. We're so polarized that even when you have proof, nobody wants to see it. And everybody goes along with it if it benefits them. Really, I'm telling you, we are very close to the edge, my friends. We must be. We must be very close to the edge. And on the other side of it is just completely uncharted territory. But good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Crystal writes, people are nasty. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I'm always picking up. I live in a city, so it just comes with it. But I'm like, damn, who does this? You just driving around, you just throw the can in somebody's yard, front yard, like no big deal. I'm like, gosh darn. You nasty ass mofo, you. Go take that to your yard. But that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. Good morning to you. And then people with these damn canines, man. It's just, I'm like, to me personally, I just feel like unless you have a yard or you have access to a lot of green space, it's actually abusive to own a canine because you can't properly take care of it. You can't properly take care of it. If you're not prepared to walk your dog, and I mean literally walk it, you can't take care of it. I got a sister that lives across the street from me. I've told this story before. I'll tell you again. I'm out on the porch. I see her walking with her dog over to my yard. I'm like, what? I had to stop her. Like, what you doing? She's like, oh, yeah, I always pick it up. Now she's got green space in front of her yard. I'm like, yo, sis, if you always pick it up and it's no big deal, do that in your yard. She don't even talk to me no more. She used to say hi to me. but I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. She used to say hi to me when she saw me coming in and out. I mean, like right across the street. Now she don't say nothing. She act like she don't see me. I look right at her. I'm the bad guy because I don't want you to turn my yard into an outdoor canine dog park when you got a yard of your own. The hell, lazy ass mofo? What the hell is wrong with you? People are nasty. But it is what it is. Hey, good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Janice writes, I call it the Trump effect. I got my rights and no one else's matter. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just amazed by it. But I knew it. I knew that Trump had the type of personality that if he got in office, that he would initiate a whole bunch of true believers to the cult of Trump And I'm at this point, I remain unsurprised by anything that I see. At first, I was like, really? People believe this? You believe this nonsense? At this point, it is what it is. You know, we talk about the black community looking for a Messiah. Sure, what about the white community looking for a Messiah to lead them to the promised land? And I told you this about a year, man, it wasn't even a year in office. I told you, Trump is like the Martin Luther King for these folks. He's a messianic figure. They believe he was sent by God. I kid you not. You think I'm joking? Think about this QAnon conspiracy. QAnon conspiracy. Remember this? They believe that Trump was like a part of some war against pedophiles. And that in his press conferences and his public events and his Twitter account, he was leaving like subtle clues. Like it sparked a whole movement called QAnon. And you had these dudes with podcasts and like media platforms, and their whole show was they would take like an excerpt from his public appearance and break it all down. See, oh, when Trump said that he was really talking about us, QAnon. So what did Trump do? He played right into it. He was asked a question. He's like, yeah, I'm hip to it. Yeah, I'm doing it. He played right into it. Why? Power, influence. There's some people who will do anything for power. There's some people who will do anything for money. There's some people who do anything for what makes them feel good. That's just the way we are. It is what it is. Kimberly writes, well, good morning, Kimberly. Adele writes, the Republicans don't want people to care. Don't fall for it, people. There is a concerted effort out there, and it remains a concerted effort, and it's focused on black voters. And the effort is to convince you that the Democrats are just like the Republicans. There's no difference. And what it plays upon is some things that are based upon fact. So it is a fact that if you ask a lot of black voters that have historically voted Democrat, that they remain unsatisfied. Right? That's a fact. And so these theories and this propaganda movement plays upon that, and it works very successfully on black folks, on black voters. Some of them, it works very successfully. I would say primarily younger voters. It works very good on them because it plays upon their cynicism. I'll say this again, folks, because I want you to get this. It is very hard when you're dealing with an adult to change their mind. That is very hard to do. Especially the older person gets. It is very hard to change a person's mind. So clever propagandists don't try to change your mind. They try to tip you in the direction that you're already leaning. Now that is much easier. You show me somebody that's got some cynicism about the political structure. You show me somebody that's got cynicism about the Democrats or about politics. And those kind of people are very easily influenced to not vote because they already got it in them anyway. Oh, this don't matter. I don't see no change. Well, you just hit them with a little bit more of that little fairy dust, a little bit more of that propaganda. It'll push them to not even vote. And that's exactly what you see what's happening. That's exactly what you see happening right now. It's revving up again. It's revving up again. We see this every midterm. We see this every presidential cycle over and over again. Over and over again. I see it again. And then you got the smart dumb cat crowd. You know, some of these cats in new black media, and they don't really offer you and offer their audience anything substantial. It's just a bunch of crybaby, whining and pointing out dumb shit that really doesn't matter. And it's just a bunch of whining. But there's nothing that leads to anything substantive. I was talking with a caller who holds this view about, 2 weeks ago, and I nailed him straight to the wall. And I asked this caller, like, well, what would be success for black people in the midterm election? Well, if black people don't vote, that'll show the Democrats. Okay, so how is that usable? What does the black community get out of that? Well, if black people don't vote for 2 or 3 election cycles, well, then that'll show the Democrats. What? What? Huh? Makes no sense. Be very, very careful because some of these people, it's very thinly veiled, but really they're pro-Republican. I used to tell my buddy, my boy Drop about that as well. It's thinly veiled pro-Republican propaganda that's dressed up as if it's pro-black. Be careful of that. Be careful of that. There's a lot of that shit going on right now, I see. It's really pro-Republican, but they dress it up like it's pro-black. Stay woke. But when you dig a little deeper and start asking a few questions, there's really nothing of substance there at all. There's really nothing there at all. Be careful, my friends. Be careful. Stay vigilant. Stay vigilant. Because we're heading into midterm election season. It's right around the corner. You're going to see it again. And then once we hit those midterms, that's a 2-year runway to the presidential election. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you hear people saying things like, what have the Democrats done for you? I think that's a fair question, but I think it's a much more fair question to ask, what has any other political parties done for us? That's the real question. The real question is, what are you going to do for you? But they get a lot of voters with this every single election cycle. Perhaps not the people in this audience because, you know, we're a little different here. But I'm just saying, keep your eyes open, stay vigilant. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. They will play upon your cynicism. They will play upon your cynicism. They'll play upon your dissatisfaction and use that against you. You know what I'm saying? Again, somebody trying to come at you with some propaganda to change your mind, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10 is not going to work. It's not going to work. But if you're already standing on one foot, leaning in one direction, somebody come and just gently tap you. Sometimes all it takes is a gentle tap, a gentle nudge. That's it. Push you straight over. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. So let me give you some news you can possibly use here from the state of Ohio. Then we'll get back to our cover story. Quote, this is an actual joke for anyone to think $100 million is going to do something to curb the huge amounts of gun violence in our classrooms and communities. So here we are, 2 weeks away from Uvalde, tragic shooting where 19 children were gunned down in their classrooms. I'm glad school is ended because I've got a little bit less anxiety. Now, my son is in summer camp and my daughter is a summer camp counselor. They don't pay summer camp counselors enough, quite honestly, but I know it's a funding issue. It is what it is. So I still have a certain level of anxiety, but not what it was before. But in the state of Ohio, the response is to arm teachers or to reduce the amount of time that a teacher would actually have to train in order to qualify to have a concealed weapon inside the classroom. It was like 700 hours plus because it mirrored the amount of time that a police officer needed in order to, carry a weapon and qualify to be a law enforcement officer. Now is 24 hours? And lawmakers have appropriated about $104 million within a broader spending package that's targeted toward preventing school shootings. Of that, $100 million goes for grants of up to $100,000 per K through 12 school building for security measures. $5 million goes for security at college campuses, and another $12 million over 2 years toward a bureaucratic body created as a part of the legislation to allow teachers to carry firearms. So I don't know how many K through 12 buildings there are in Cincinnati Public Schools, but if I'm reading this correctly, they could each qualify for up to $100,000. Me personally, I don't think you should be able to walk into a building without walking through a metal detector. You should have to walk through a metal detector to walk into every damn door at a school. You got to walk straight through. I mean, you walk, and there should be no way for you to circumvent it or to go around it or to dodge it. Why? Because somebody could walk into a school with a weapon. That's why. Someone suggested that the school should have lockdown measures where they can lock it down. It locks every door. And what it would do theoretically is, let's say you got a psycho sicko that's in the lunchroom. Well, if you lock all the doors, theoretically, it would lock them and box them into one specific area instead of allowing them to roam through the building and kill people at will. Okay, that sounds good. Theoretically, I'd be for whatever it takes. And I don't know if $100,000 is enough for all of that, though. Like $100,000, that sounds like that might get you maybe like one extra school resource officer. Maybe might get you a rookie resource officer. I don't know if you want a rookie resource officer. I'm not sure if that would do it. But metal detectors for sure. Like I said, it's very easy to get into these school buildings. All you got to do is go in. In most cases, they have to buzz you in. But once they buzz you in, I mean, you in. Like I've showed up at my kids' school before unannounced because of whatever was going on. They never stopped me. They'll ask me a question like, "Hey, sir, can we help me?" Yeah, I'm dropping off my son's lunch. He forgot it at home. That's all I got to tell him. Well, who's your son? Da, 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 da. Okay, what classroom is he in? Da, 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 da. Now I'm in. And once I get in, I'm in. You know, I pull a hammer out on and say, "Open the door." They're gonna open the door. As simple as that. Perhaps there's nothing we can do to prevent it, but maybe there's some things we can do to deal with it. In Ohio, let me throw you some statistics at you. In Ohio, both 2020 and 2021 set records for the number of Ohioans killed by guns, according to state data. And here we are, 5 days away from concealed and carry without a permit or any kind of training going into effect. I'll say it again. Both 2020 and 2021 set records for the number of Ohioans killed by guns. And we're 5 days away from everybody, barring some type of disability or felony or something like that, being able to conceal and carry. The rate of Ohio youths 19 and younger killed by firearms jumped to 89% between 2010 and 2019. That's the fourth highest increase by state. And according to the New England Journal of Medicine, guns are now the leading cause of death for youths. Guns are now the leading cause of death for youths. And we're 5 days away from anybody getting a gun and walking around with it concealed. Are you going to feel safer in 5 days? Are you going to feel less safe in 5 days? I mean, you tell me. 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning, I would love to hear them. I'd love to hear them. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Just 5 days away, my friends. That's it. TG writes, wow, that's bold and terribly trifling. Let your dog poop in your yard. Exactly. Ann, what's up, Ann? She writes, Nathan, you're doing a great job of explaining in the inexplicable QAnons, right? People actually believe this shit. Timothy writes, a lot of really dumb people. Deshaun writes, Dr. Boyce Watkins used to promote this same rhetoric about not voting as a way to help Republicans win by default. Did he? I know Tariq Nasheed did. I'm glad to see he stopped. Yeah, some of these big time, like, new black media folks were smart dumb cats. Run around telling the audiences to not vote is is quite honestly self-defeating, while not offering any other type of remedy or suggestion to deal with it. I don't think it's smart, but if I came across somebody who said, you know what, the presidential election, national election doesn't matter, but I definitely vote locally, I can respect that at least. But they out here running around telling people not to vote at all. And I'm going to tell you something that passes as smart these days that is the most unintelligent shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Because it doesn't prompt you to any action. Meanwhile, there's people in our own city that's showing you how to get shit done. There's people here that's doing it. It's showing you the roadmap on how to get it done. But that takes courage and action. And a lot of people don't have courage and action. They just want to just bellyache and whine and complain. I'll say this again, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the Black community, there's enough blame and finger point to go around for the Democrats, the Republicans, and the independents. It goes all the way around. But when I hear this party specific, critiques, it feels like propaganda. If we're going to be intelligent about it, we should be questioning what we do. That is the number one thing. It ain't about the Democrats. It ain't about the Republicans. It's not about the independents. It's about us. It's about you. There's nothing more empowering, because I want to empower you. There's nothing more empowering than realizing that you have power. You have the power. You have the power. It's not about anybody else. It's about what you're willing to do or what you are not willing to do. And again, we've seen so many examples. There's examples of people in this city that's getting shit done, that's moving the needle, that's having an impact. And they're not just talking, they're doing. So when I hear people with these party-specific critiques, like if I'm going to critique the political landscape, I'm critiquing everybody, all the parties, not just one. That is not empowering. Don't fall for the banana in a tailpipe. You know what I'm saying? Don't fall for that shit. If they're not empowering you, then what's the point? What's the point of it all? Yeah, I've seen it. I don't quite remember Dr. Boyce Watkins doing that per se. Yeah, I kind of do actually when I think about it. Yeah. But they've changed their tune because it's this self-defeating, woe is me. We can't never do anything. They don't care about us. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? I can't use that. Meanwhile, there's examples of people in our communities that's getting it done, that's moving the needle, right? Because they're involved. You know what I'm saying? They ain't sitting at home. They involved, right? Show me somebody sitting around belly aching with these party-specific critiques. What are the independents doing for us? Or what are the Republicans doing for us? Or what are the Democrats doing for us? And my question is, what are you doing for you? What are you doing? I know it seems overwhelming. I'm not telling you that you can go out there and move clouds today. But what I'm telling you is that, man, a small group of people that just won't stop can move mountains. It's happened before. So you either create it or you join it. You know what I'm saying? You either create that or you join it. But I'm just not with this, woe is me. They don't care. Okay, so we got to care. They don't care. This is not happening. I mean, all of that, there might be some facts and all of that, but what you going to do with that? That's just me. Enough is enough with the nonsense. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Sean writes, good morning, King Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Good morning to you, brother. What passes as intelligent these days, and some of these black media channels is these constant critiques of the Democrats. And I want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from, because there'll be some smart dumb cats out there that'll try to misinterpret what I'm saying. They'll misinterpret it as Nathan is shielding the Democrats. I'm not. Anybody can get that critique. Anybody can get that work. But my question is, what do we do with that? What do we do with that? We had a little bit of a conversation about 2 weeks ago, and I'm here for it. And we had some of the choppers who was like, well, what have the Democrats done for us lately? And I thought about it. And I asked the question, so what if the answer is nothing? So what if the answer to what if has the Democrats done for us lately? What if the answer is nothing? What's the next step? And I got crickets. Nobody answered it. Because for me, that's the most crucial question. And the next question is obvious. The next question is, like, if you ask that question, what have the Democrats done for us? And your response is not a damn thing. They don't care about you. The next question is, what are you going to do for yourself? That's why I skip those questions and just get to the part that really matters. So if you ask the question, what have the Democrats done for us? And you're talking to black voters. And the response is nothing. They don't care. What are you going to do? Not vote? You going to vote Republican? You going to vote independent? What's your response? That's what really matters. You know what I'm saying? All this whining and belly aching and complaining, it sounds cool to people that's not really thinking about it. Like, wow, they outside the matrix. And looking back at the matrix, they're not outside the matrix. They're even deeper in the matrix than anybody else is. They're not outside the matrix. Wow, this is a really intelligent take. It's not an intelligent take. This shit don't make any sense whatsoever. Like all those people that was out there like, you know what, I'm not going to vote for Hillary. Okay, so they didn't vote at all. I would even say that the Bernie bros, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know what happened with the Democrats parties. It was some stupid shit. Bernie should have been the nominee. I think he would have been a stronger nominee than Hillary. I said it then. I'm saying it now. But you're not going to vote at all because you sour grapes? Now, I get it. I get it. I blame the Democrat Party, the National Democrat Party, for how they dealt with that Bernie situation. It appears, if memory serves me, that the fix was in for Hillary no matter what. So I blame them because it just flamed up a lot of cynicism that people have for the Democrat Party. But you telling me the smartest move in an election with Donald Trump is to not vote at all? That's smart? No, it's not. It wasn't. That was some dumb shit. People did that shit. I ain't mad. I'm going to take my ball and go home. I'm going to take my vote and go home. Okay, but there's still an election. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming up in November, my friends, there is going to be a midterm election, whether you participate or not. It's going to be an election. People are going to get elected one way or the other. You can either participate or you can belly and complain about what other people who have participated chose. And we all smart, intelligent adults out here. Raise your hand if you're going to let somebody else make decisions, critical conditions for your life. You ain't going to do that. But people do that all the time. They think they're smart about it. Right? Yeah, I'm going to teach them. No, you're really only hurting yourself. You're really only hurting yourself. Rachel writes, it's the new contrarian attitude. So they are not accountable to the change that is needed. They don't really support the black community. Not at all. I read right through it. I see right through it. Stefan writes, B1 do the same on his platform. Who is B1, Stefan? You talking about I don't know who B1 is, but I've heard some of these cats when they call it new black media, and it's like constant belly aching, like the Democrats trying to play you. 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 They trying to play you. They trying to play you. And I'm like, this is what the fuck you got to offer? I don't want to hear this shit, Negro. You don't give me some damn solutions. Now, some of it is very, this one dude, I think he's called, He's very he's funny, and I see why people like him. He's got a sense of humor. I forget his name though. I think it's called the Black Agenda or something like that. Um, he's hilarious. He definitely has a comedic sort of view, so I can see why people get into it. But when I really listen to it, it's like Supreme Court justices don't matter. They trying to play you. I'm like, what the fuck? Kentaji Brown Jackson, that don't matter. Okay, fool. This ain't nothing but identity politics. And I'm listening to this shit like, people listen to this crap? Hey, yo, man, I ain't doing none of that. I'm not leading people down the wrong path. I ain't doing that shit. That's some of the dumbest crap I ever heard in my entire life. I forget what it's called. I think I might call it the Black Agenda. No, it's not called a Black Agenda Report. It's called, damn, I can see the cover art. It'll come to me. Somebody will post it. Man, that is not empowering. You're supposed to be empowering people, arming people with information, not disarming them. They trying to play you. See, look right here. They trying to play you. I told you Biden wasn't going to do this. I told you Biden. I told you. Man, if you don't sit your unintelligent ass down, I told you Biden wasn't going to do nothing. Uh-huh. Like they don't understand how Congress actually works. And I feel like they play upon people's ignorance about how Congress actually works. They just playing you for your vote. They get their vote and they turn your back on you. Now, let's be real here. The best propaganda has some truth in it. That's the best propaganda. If you came at people with straight lies, they'll see right through it. So what you start with is a dose of a little bit of the truth, some truisms in there, and you build off of there. Shit. Do I think the Biden administration has been moving fast enough? Not to my liking. No. Shit, this is a microwave society. I want mine now. Put it in the microwave and take it out in 15 seconds, and it's done. That's what I want. We all want that. But are there some broader forces at work in Congress? You know what I'm saying? Are there some broader elements, some nuanced elements as to way policy actually is created on the national level? Absolutely. Meanwhile, what I think people should be doing is focusing on your local level, state, city, county. Why? Because the closer these political bodies are to you, the more impact it's going to have on your daily life. Everybody focus on the national. We should be focused on what's happening in the state of Ohio. If you're an Ohioan, that's what we should be focused. We should be focused on everything, but this local shit is what really impacts your day to day. Like everybody wants the city to do something, but in some levels, especially when it comes to funding and making certain moves and policy ideas, their hands are tied at the state level. They can't do nothing about it. It don't matter what they think. It don't matter what their intentions is. Their hands are tied. We need more education on that. Shout out to my friends over at the Cincinnati NAACP. I think from what I'm seeing here, that they do the best job of anybody, the most consistent job on trying to raise awareness about what's happening on the state level and how it impacts you here in the city of Cincinnati. How do I know? I produce their podcast. I hear them every week. I hear what they're saying. I hear them. But people would rather tune in to the belly aching and the whining and the complaining. Well, why didn't Biden do this? Do you not understand what this is? Now, I know that Trump came across, he was projecting that BDE, right? He was projecting that BDE, right? Like he could do anything he wanted to do at all times, but he could not. Is the president influential and powerful? Obviously. Can Joe Biden sit in his office and think up legislation and then press a button and make it happen? No, it don't work that way. It don't work, and it never has. It doesn't work that way. It don't work that way. I just hate to see people get miseducated. And I know some people that turned me off this morning. They don't want to hear this shit. They don't want to hear this. They want to go back to, their conspiracy theories and their propaganda and that BS. They want to believe in that because it's, for whatever reason, it's touching them. It's striking a chord with them, but I'm not with that. I ain't with it. Get involved. Get involved. If there's candidates or policy ideas, get involved. Shoot them a couple bucks. You know what I'm saying? That's what it takes to win these elections. Ohio will never be what we want it to be as long as the current power structure is in place. It'll never be that way. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. It's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. But we can change this. Now, will it be overnight? No, it won't be overnight. We didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get from here overnight. The world don't work that way, even though we got these microwave society. We want it fast, 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 and quick, quick, quick. Just boil it in some water and it's ready in 2 minutes. I mean, it just don't work that way. But there's too many examples out here, people getting shit done, having an impact for us to act like it can't happen. I'm just not with it. I'm not with it. Charles writes, Grand Rising, Nathan Choppers, good morning to you. Kelly Prather writes, good morning, everyone. Derek Dansby's in the house. What's up, Derek? How did the event go on Saturday? He writes, good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Chop Shop. Governor Ohio, driver's license, yes. Gun licenses, no, right. Oh, man. Now, I don't predict the Wild Wild West per se, because just look at what happened in other states. I believe there's 22 other states and maybe 23 other states in which they've got a permitless concealed and carry, or so-called constitutional carry, which is some old political jargon bullshit. Again, the Constitution is a flexible document. It was meant to change with the times. It was written to reflect the era that we live in. You know what I'm saying? The ethos, the morals, the values of the 18th century may not be the ethos, the morals and values of the 21st century. And it's not. The technology that was available to us in the 19th century is not the same technology that's available to us in the 21st century. In the 18th century, they was running around here with muskets. Took you for 3 minutes, if you were fast with it, to reload and reset, put your gunpowder in, put the projectile in, put it all in there, boom, and then recock it. Now you can kill 24 people in 30 seconds. You could open fire with one of these AR-15s and kill half a dozen people inside of a minute, if not more than that, before you got to reload. And with these high capacity magazines, shit, some of these high capacity magazines is what, 100 rounds? Now, what in the hell are you trying to kill with 100 rounds? And whatever it is, should we really be killing it? That's a special one of God's creatures. If it takes 100 rounds to kill one of God's creatures, I think we shouldn't kill it. What are you killing? Unicorns? The fucking last dragon? What do you need that for? You killing Yeti? I would say if there is a Yeti, we probably shouldn't kill it. That's what I would say. Moby Dick? What are you trying to kill with 100 rounds? I just don't believe any of these arguments, any of them. Well, Nate, I need all of these weapons to stop the government. Man, the government might want to turn on us. Man, listen, I'll say this again. If the government wants your ass, they're going to get you. I don't care if you got 2 billion rounds. When the boys roll down on you, they rolling down on you. And ain't nothing you going to do with it, Ruby Ridge. When they say come out with your hands up, either you coming out with your hands up, or they're going to drag your ass out face down, or they're going to carry you out with your back on a gurney and a sheet over your face. You coming out. Tell me when they don't bring you out. Tell me give me an example where somebody was able to hold off the government. It ain't out there. You coming out. I don't care how many people in there with weapons. You coming out one way or the other. Hands up, face down on your belly, being dragged out, or with a sheet over your body. You're coming out. So I don't believe these arguments. We need these governments, the tyranny of the government, the tyranny of the government. Do you understand the technology at their disposal? You don't understand? Man, they got these sonic weapons. They'll shoot some sonic waves, heat wave weapons. They'll make you leave the home or the dwelling or wherever you are. I just don't buy it. You got these good old boys in the hills on the weekends playing army. Who are you doing that for? You ain't gonna stand up to the National Guard. Hell, you're not even gonna be able to stand up to your local police force that's got military grade weapons. So all these arguments, I don't believe any of them. None of them make any sense to me. None of them. But, we got to have more guns. More guns. That's the prescription for the gun crisis is more guns. That makes more sense. That's like saying that the prescription for COVID is more COVID. We need more variants. Yeah, that's how we beat COVID. We need some more variants that are even more deadlier and infectious than the original variant. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me, but this is where we are. And we have to navigate these uncharted waters together, my friend, so we can live our best lives, the best quality of life. I don't know about you, but that's what it's all about, right? Black, white, green, right, whatever. You want to live the best life you can, I would imagine. You want to live the best life you can for you and your family. Am I wrong about that? That's all you're looking for. You want the best quality that you can work for. And maybe you might get lucky and hit the lottery and move into a cul-de-sac. You want your kids to have the best quality of life. That's it. White, black, Democrat, Republican, millennial, hip-hop generation, baby boomer. That's all you really want. But people are making it so damn hard. So damn hard. But let me go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey, Derek Dansby, Greater Cincinnati Realtors Association. Thank you for all your hard work and efforts. Thank you to the Chop Shop. The homeownership event last Saturday was a tremendous success.
Great.
I owe a lot of that to you and your listeners for helping us get the word out and helping us continue to push for the Black homeownership. It's extremely important for our community. It's extremely important for our city. It's extremely important that we as Black people continue to gain wealth.
I'm glad to hear that, man. So a lot of folks showed up. You were able to connect people with a lot of information?
We had over 60 folks show up on a beautiful Saturday morning, early afternoon. We had folks from Housing Opportunities Made Equal. They came on your show. They were there. They were talking about their pathway to Black homeownership. We had Donnie Young from ADT there. We had Dietrich Walker from State Farm. We had Ken Webb from Republic Bank. We had folks there getting people pre-approved for mortgages on the spot. We had First Inspection Plus who were there teaching folks the do's and don'ts when getting a home inspection and what to look out for. So it was a tremendous success. It was good that we were able to get so many supporters to come out, partners of ours that are in the housing area. It was also kind of disappointing in some ways because there were some folks that we invited to come out and, set up a booth, set up a vendor table. They didn't, I guess because it was a Saturday, they didn't want to come out, but that's okay. The realtors, the Cincy realtors are going to be here and we're going to, take a frontline approach to being part of the solution to increase the number of Black homeowners in the city of Cincinnati.
At least 3 people hit me up on Facebook. I'm glad you called in, Derek, and they were asking me questions that I didn't know the answer to. And I got 2 questions. One, is there literature available that we can send to people like a PDF? And then 2, are you going to do an event like this again anytime soon?
Yes, we are going to do an event like this again soon. This is something that the Cincy Realtors views as one of our top priorities. There are a lot of folks in the city who are doing this, but they're not doing this on this type of level. They're doing it 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And we realize that for a number of folks, you can't get away during the daytime. You can't go down to see people and have a meeting with someone on how to become a homeowner. You know, folks work 1, 2 jobs. They got kids they got to raise, take care of, get to school, get from school, personal errands, you know, and heaven forbid, you know, they have other life extenuating circumstances going on. So we want to be there to help people. We want to be there to show up in the evening times for our events. We want to do stuff on Saturdays, and we'll even do stuff during the day because there's some people that work 3rd shift jobs. So we want to make sure that we try to be as flexible and accommodating to anybody who has a desire to become a homeowner. So we will probably do one late July, early August, hopefully working in collaboration with the city of Cincinnati and some of the same partners that I mentioned to you earlier. I do not have anything on the website or any literature that I can give you, but if you are interested in owning a home and learning more about the homeownership process, you can reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to help them on my own.
Okay. And people can reach you on Facebook?
Reach me on Facebook and social media everywhere else, Downtown Dansby, Twitter, Instagram, all that. You can find me. You can inbox me through this right now. I'm happy to help. Anytime someone's looking to become a homeowner, to gain wealth, to help improve themselves, I'm happy to assist anyone. And if I can't assist them, I'll at least point you in the right direction.
Okay. Sounds good, brother. I appreciate your work you're
But
doing
I
for
just
our
wanted to
community.
thank you all. I just wanted to thank you, Nathan. You did a great job, really helping us increase awareness on the issue. You know, I'm still very concerned about the decrease in Black home ownership in the city. I think, as I mentioned on the call last Friday, and over the last 2 years, the Black home ownership rate has dipped by 1.7%. And if that trend continues the way it's going, by the time we get to 2030, the Black home ownership rate in the city of Cincinnati will be at or below 25%. And that's something we simply cannot happen. It takes a long time to become a homeowner. We need supply. We need lenders who are willing to lend to us. We need folks who are ready to go through the process. And so it takes time. And so in order for us to see positive movement in 2023, 2024, we have to plant seeds now. We have to plant the seeds today. And we've got to nurture it and watch it grow, because becoming a homeowner is not an overnight process. So if we don't start the process now, we're going to be in deep trouble. But I appreciate you all listening to me and taking the time to understand where we're at on this issue. And please keep it in the forefront of our minds when we think about Black wealth, when we think about, well, how come we have gun violence? When we think about how come our kids aren't matriculating through school? When we think about how to get people to go down to the budget hearing, we think about those things because it relates back to home ownership. If we've got people who own homes in these communities, Black people who own homes in these communities, violence goes down. Our communities are safer. If we've got Black people who own homes and their children are being raised in a stable home environment, they'll matriculate through school faster. They don't have to worry about switching schools, switching buses. They've got a constant home environment that helps them achieve educationally on a much more consistent, higher level. And then when you got Black homeowners and there's a budget hearing, you can walk down to that budget hearing and say that you're a homeowner, that you pay property taxes, and your voice and your viewpoint is heard with a higher level of respect. And that's the facts. We can't control something we don't have any ownership. And that's basic 101. And that's where we need to get to as people. So I appreciate the Chop Shop listening. Nathan, I appreciate you allowing me to have the microphone for a quick moment to get that word out. And, our work continues. It doesn't end. And until we get the black homeownership rate at the same level of whites of 73%, we've got a lot of work to do. Thanks again, brother.
Thank you,
Thanks
Derek.
again.
Take it easy. That's Derek
All right,
Gaspy.
Bye-bye.
Everybody. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad the people that were helped, and I just try to do my little part as much as possible, and because I believe in it. I believe in it. I think that everything he just said, I believe in 100%. Like, and again, there's a lot of challenges. We'll put it challenges in the city of Cincinnati. Cincinnati has great potential. Cincinnati has great potential. There's a lot of good things that are happening in the city. There's a lot of good people that are aware of our multiple challenges. And I see people trying to address those challenges, and they're kind of getting in where they fit in on multiple levels. And so I've just taken a positive attitude toward where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? I think very highly of Cincinnati. Yeah, this has nothing to do with the Bengals. You know what I'm saying? The Bengals have nothing to do with my pride about where I live. It's the people. I'm invested in the people of Cincinnati. And Cincinnati has great potential. We don't have to be what we've always been. We don't have to be that. There's good people on multiple levels working in the city that are bringing something new, that are trying to address these multiple challenges. That's all it is. Life is nothing more than challenges. That's it. Nothing more. I just refuse to, throw my hands up and bury my head in the sand and, there's nothing we can do about it. I just refuse to do that. This is not who I am. Now, you already know when it's time to get critical, I'm right there if it's necessary. But I want to help promote the change makers. I want to shed light on the challenges. That's all it is. And we know the city of Cincinnati has a history of racism, a legacy that impacts the quality of life today. We all know that. We got it. But my question is and I'm not challenging you per se, I'm challenging myself and anybody that's listening, but what are we going to do about it? And I stand by that. A lot can be done. You give me a small, dedicated group of people that won't give up, and they can make things happen. You know what I'm saying? You give me a small group of dedicated people that won't get tired, and they can make things happen. It's always been that way, always will be that way. We just have to decide on whether we're going to be a part of it or not. That's how I look at it. But let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Hi, Nathan. How are you?
Brother Fame, I'm doing well. Welcome, brother.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be with you. You say that Cincinnati does not have to be what we always been. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
I couldn't agree more, and I couldn't, and I couldn't agree, and I have to say the same about these new black media, as you say. Black media and black think process does not have to be what it's always been. That's all they're doing. Tariq Nasheed is very necessary. Umar Johnson, although I'm not a fan of Boyce Watkins, but he's very necessary. All that new black think. We're tired of the same basic banal black speak. The NAACP been around for 100 years or whatever, 200 years, however long they've been around, and ain't nothing changed. Niggas still they just now was able to drum up enough support to get a anti-lynching bill. That would have been great 120 years ago. Trust me, getting lynched is if I'm weighed about 210 things in my life, getting lynched is about 197. Okay, and I don't understand. Why are we talking about January 6th when my gas is $5.05 a gallon? What the hell has that got to do with January 6th 2 years ago? Not a darn thing. Trump was the least of your worries back then as a black person, and he's definitely that now. Quit worrying about January 6th. Who gives a shit? and doubled up my gas, allotment a month because in recent times, and it just happened. It didn't happen it happened overnight. It didn't like creep up. It pretty much happened overnight. We literally went from $3 to $5 in no time. And it has shit to do with January 6th. Now, you open the show with a great topic.
Breast cancer doesn't have anything to do with January 6th either, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't be focusing on it.
I didn't hear you. What did you say, rest time?
I said breast cancer has nothing to do with January 6th, but it doesn't mean that it's not an issue that still needs to be addressed. So these comparisons you make between them, it's not even a real comparison. It's not either or.
Tell us a non sequitur without telling us a non sequitur.
Well, that's what you just did.
Breast cancer, really?
You're comparing people who are saying, look, there was a crime that was committed and there's an ongoing investigation to gas prices. They're not competing.
There was a crime. I was bringing up the fact that
I didn't say a word. Can I just finish what I'm saying?
Okay, now let's be argumentative.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is, gas prices and alleviating that burden, that pressure is a real issue. And so is the ongoing investigations in January 6th. They're both issues that are important.
They have nothing to do with your black ass or no black ass in this audience. But the gas prices, that's kicking everybody's ass. January 6th, trust me, y'all ain't worried about January 6th. You just want something to bellyache about, as the man was saying earlier. Ain't had nothing to do with none of y'all black asses. Ain't had nothing to do with your black ass cousins. Ain't had to do with nobody you know. Nobody you could call through your contacts and say, yeah, what the hell happened up there? But today's gas prices, hey, what's the gas price up there at that Speedway by you? Because this dairy by me is $5.05.
You could not be more wrong.
That's relative.
You could not be more wrong. But go right ahead.
I know. You were talking about the transgender athletes. I thought that was an excellent topic, and I wish you would have stayed on that instead of just spitting one or two bars about it. I'll be the first to say that transgender should not be playing girls athletes. I'm not going to say it's going to kill girls sports or nothing, but it is what it is. But yeah, the checks, I mean, they ain't checks on the spot, are they? Is that what? Did I hear you say that? I didn't hear you say that, did I?
No, I don't believe that's the way it'll work. They've got 3 methods to validate a person's gender. And one of them is a genital check. The other is a testosterone check, which would be a blood test essentially. And the last is, let me double check. I can't remember what the last one was.
Well, no, the genital one, that's the one I was talking about. Who's going to do that?
Qualified physician. Oh, the last one is an analysis of the genetic makeup of the athlete.
Oh, okay. Well, now I changed my mind. I don't think I have a problem with it. I thought they were doing spot checks, like the motherfucking school resource officer checking, your pack or whatever.
No.
They should do that. They don't have to do that. All they got to do is create another category, male, female, gender, transgender. Just create a sport for them or whatever. So you can participate in these. I still that might be a little bit much still, but I don't like going to a track meet and seeing Jimmy racing Shante. You know what I'm saying? In the 400 or in the 100. It's like, okay, you're going to smoke her. Just how about how much? It's not fair to watch. It's not pleasant to watch. And then on top of that, these don't even look like girls. They obviously were boys. Big broad shoulders and chests and shit. But hey, it's been real.
Well, let me make sure I understand what you're saying, brother, before you run off. So you're saying that you don't have a problem with the genital checks and somebody, validating their gender.
By a physician. I'm thinking it's one of these damn old kooks at the track meets that's holding stopwatches checking them. that are state volunteers or state, people that are, given $25 an hour to do the damn, to hold the stop clock at the track meet, the judges.
Right.
That's why I thought they was going to do it. If it's a real physician, a certified physician, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I thought that's what I was under the impression that it was going to be. Like, if you've ever been to a track meet, you all been to track meets, you'll know what I'm talking about. These people are old as F, old as dirt out there, and they basically just hold a stopwatch and hold flags. Counting infractions with a flag. It's like these people are. I'm thinking these were these type of people, the judges that would be doing it, not physicians. If it's real physicians, I don't have a problem with that. No, this does need to stop. It completely needs to stop, like instantly. So, but yeah, man. Hey, you be well, and we'll chat again soon, B.
Hey, Fame, thanks for the call as always, brother. Take it easy. This is what's being reported about the bill. I have not read the bill myself, but this new bill in Ohio, if it's signed by the governor, could require an exam. House Bill 151, also called the Save Women's Sports Act, says that if a participant's sex is in dispute, she must verify her sex with a physician in only the following ways. Now think about this for a second, family. Like, who might have a dispute about this kind of stuff? Well, it would be another parent. So you're a parent, and let's say you've got a biologically born girl athlete, female athlete, and you get out to the track and you're like, what in the hell? Who is that? What is that, a man, or is that a boy, or is that a girl? Is that a female? And then I guess you would let the school know or something like that, or the overarching sports authority. And they could go back to that transgender athlete or that athlete and ask them to verify their sex. To me, that's something that seems like it could be misused. I mean, that opens the door for it to be abused. So now we just looking at people, and because somebody else looks at your child and says, you know what? I'm not really sure if that's a male or a female. What does that mean exactly? Like, let's say this is like, I don't know. I need to know more about it. Let's say this, would they have to do this examination in the middle of the season? Would the athlete under suspicion be what? Ineligible to participate until they get the exam? Is there a window in which the exams must be taken? Listen, I'm with a lot of people where I feel like it could be an unfair advantage. But I don't know if I like this. An analysis of our genetic makeup, that sounds like a month. I don't know about you, but I may be able to get in to see my doctor if they've got space. An analysis of testosterone, that's a blood test. I mean, they could turn this stuff around really quickly, right? Within a couple of weeks. And an exam of her internal and external reproductive anatomy. So basically, your child will have to go to the doctor and lay back and let the doctor examine their genitals to make sure they are exactly who they say they are. That's what we're doing in America now? That seems right to you? I don't know. You tell me. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52, also known as the Black Not Democrat. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Good morning, brother.
Hey, Nate. Now, come on, bro. I'm 61 years old. Now, I refereed high school basketball for 15 years in Southern California. I knew a high school athlete, female. Nate, before you sign up for any high school sport, you got to get the physical, you got to get the exam, you got to be cleared to play. So listening to you, and shout out to Fame Rothstein, the owner operator of the Betting Public Sports Show. Listening to you and Fame talk about this new legislation, to me, it's all about the LGBTQIA agenda, where a child can receive gender reassignment as an adolescent, where a child can identify as a female or a male. But back in the day, Nate, all you show your birth certificate. That's it. There was no other discussion. But now, because of the LGBTQIA agenda, you have to go to these links just to have your child participate in high school athletics. Because your child ain't gonna have to go through all this, because it's clear. Your child is what they are when they were born. But if you're like these two athletes, I think they were in Oregon, and they obviously they didn't have to go through any type of check. They just went with what the children said that they identified as, which were female. They never had genital reassignment surgery, none of that stuff. And they let these children compete against girls who were born girls, and obviously there was a clear advantage. And then if you look at the college athlete, Leah Thomas, at the University of Pennsylvania, I think, she's now thinking of applying in Olympics. But guess what, Nate? In the Olympics, they do some of the same tests that you were talking about with Fame, because some people are born, I think they call them hermaphrodites, where they have both the male and the female chromosomes or whatever. So you have to get that type of test to decide if you can compete with the women, because obviously you saying you're a woman, but you look like a man. So again, it's because of the LGBTQAI agenda, Nate. That's why all this is happening, instead of just mommy and daddy showing the child's birth certificate, and that's the end of it. Now, if you allow me to say one more thing about your earlier monologue on New Black Media encouraging Democrat voters to not vote in the midterm election.
Absolutely, sir.
Nate,
but can I just make a point on the point you just made before we go away from it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're right, because my daughter's a student athlete. I hope my son is as well. And you do have to have a physical. So in the age of transgender, maybe it would be more fair that we include these genital checks as a part of the annual physical for everybody. And that way it's not like this scarlet letter type of thing where if a parent has a suspicion about another student athlete, then that student athlete then has to go get another basically internal and external genital exam. Just do it for everybody and make it a part of what everybody has to do. And that way, we know. And it's not something extra that a student athlete may have to do, or a family may have to endure. I think that sounds better, doesn't it?
Yeah, if your child had the reassignment surgery.
No, I'm saying doing it for everybody, even if they haven't.
For what? It makes no sense for a boy who was born a boy. It's on his birth certificate. There's no reason to check his genitalia if he's wanted to participate in boy sports. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, because again, I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head right now. So,
Okay, well, Leah Thomas.
It makes sense because it would be fair across the board for everybody. We know what everybody's true gender is at the beginning of the school year because they all took physical exams. That way, we don't get to the season and somebody's accusing somebody of being a transgender athlete. We already know across the board.
Okay, well, I guess for the sake of fairness, yes, but it doesn't make any sense, because all this legislation applies to the children whose parents allowed them to have this surgery as an adolescent, and then they enter high school and their birth certificate says one thing, but their appearance and their parents say something else. Now, in Leah Thomas's case in the NCAA, the only thing that's required are the testosterone counts. So he received a series of hormone injections to bring his testosterone levels down in order for him to participate as a woman. He has not had gender reassignment surgery. So he still has a penis and testicles. But again, based on the NCAA rules, which it sounds like Ohio legislators are adopting some of the same rules, that you have your testosterone cannot be that of a male, and in order to lower it, you have to take these hormone shots. So it is what it is. You know, you're going to have to deal with it with your son because he's probably going to be an athlete, but your daughter is graduating. So again, it's parents got to get involved. Like Fane said, he's a parent. He doesn't believe in boys who are born boys and identify as girls in high school be able to compete with girls. That's not fair to the girls. But Nate, on the other topic, real quick.
Okay, let's get to it.
Okay, the reason that these people, you mentioned Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and there are many, many others, Luther Campbell, there are many, many other new black media or social media influencers who put themselves out on the line in 2020 for Joe Biden to get the huge numbers, 80 plus million people, a lot of them young folks who follow or are influenced by these people that you mentioned. Now, based on what is happening right now, like Fane said, when you go fill up your gas tank, you ain't thinking about January 6th. So all these black influencers who put their reputations on the line for Joe Biden and the Democrats, they're telling black voters that the way you hold your party accountable is in the midterms. You let them know what you're pissed off about. So when the presidential election comes up, they have to cater to your complaints. That's how you hold your party accountable. It's not about telling people to stay at home or vote Republican. It's about letting your voice be heard. What is it that the Democrats told you they were going to do and they didn't do it? We ain't about no excuses because you had the majority in both houses and you had the White House. No excuses. And that's why, Nate, the polling shows the president's constituents are not happy. And one last thing, out here in California, blue state, they have all mail-in balloting. It is so bad, Nate, they've only received, I think, 20% of the mail-in ballots to date, and the election is today. So it's a lot of people on the Democrat side that just are not happy.
Yeah.
And the one thing
And
that
unfortunately,
boils them is when they go put that gas in the car, Nate. It is what it is. So
that don't work with
that's
me.
it. That's all I got.
Yeah, thank you for the call, brother. I appreciate you, but that don't work with me, man.
All right.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
I know it don't.
Yeah.
All right, but maybe
That don't work
somebody
with
will
me.
call in. Maybe somebody will call in and explain why I'm wrong. All right, later, Nate.
Well, it's not about how you being wrong. Thank you for the call, brother. It's not about you being wrong. It's just picking through the bullshit. So let me break this down. Fame, that's his opinion. That's cool, but it don't make any sense. That's like saying, well, we shouldn't be concerned about breast cancer because gas prices is $4 or $5. That's more that propaganda. That's more that they trying to play games with you. Listen, as adults, we understand that the world is not always black and white. As adults, we understand there are multiple challenges that we have to deal with all at once. So this oversimplification that we got from Fame and then your brother there just tried to underscore it. It ain't happening with me. All we should worry about is gas prices right now. Who does that benefit? The reality is gas prices is an issue. Food prices is an issue. There's a lot of issues and challenges right now. So to say that we as black people that have been under the thumb of the law and order regime should not care about the fact that there was a coup attempt in this country, we should pay no attention to that because of gas prices, is the dumbest shit I've heard in a long time. I ain't with the business. That makes no sense. That don't make no sense. We shouldn't worry about pancreatic cancer because of breast cancer. No, the reality is, as adults, we realize there's multiple challenges. There's multiple issues. And unfortunately or fortunately, we have to address them simultaneously. Depending on who you are and how these issues touch your life, there might be some that might be more or less prominent based upon what's going on, but they all relevant issues that matter. Don't let these people try to fool you. Don't let these people try to fool you. You can't do that on my watch. I ain't going for it. That don't make any sense. That don't make no sense whatsoever. Most people don't even understand why gas prices are the way they are. But when I say OPEC, most people don't even know what that is. And so instead of taking the time to really educate the audience and educate people about the various levels to this, they want to give you some oversimplification. That ain't working. Our issues are way more complicated than that. Same thing with Biden. I totally get it. I get it. You know, has the Biden administration moved as fast as enough on these issues? No, I'm part of the microwave generation too. I want it fast, fast, fast. I want mine now. But politics don't work that way. And then what did Drop say? He's like, yeah, people understand that you got to take it out on the midterm. Yeah, that worked great for Obama, didn't it? That worked great for Obama. Obama was elected. 2 years later, people didn't come out the same way they did during the presidential election. And what happened? He was surrounded by ops. What'd that give us? That gave us a clear-cut conservative majority on the Supreme Court. Does that favor black people? Please stop. You can't get that off here, man. We not dumb. I'm not dumb. I'm not saying I'm smart, but I'm certainly not dumb. So we got to show the Democrats a lesson that we need business and don't vote in the midterm. What does that mean? That means Mitch the bitch McConnell takes over. Was he a friend of black people the last time he was the majority leader, Senate majority leader? Fuck no, he wasn't. No, he was not. No, he was not. Was the Republican Party front and center on the so-called black agenda when they had the Senate majority? Fuck no, they was not. No, they was not. So please miss me with the nonsense. I ain't going for it. Please stop. We got to show them. We gonna sit out 10 election cycles. That'll show the Democrats, and then they'll represent us the way we want them to. By that time, game over. Game over. There's no coming back after that. Game over. I just hate the way they try to play black voters, as if black voters are not smart. Black people are very intelligent. You always voting Democrat. Sometimes on these elections, it is the lesser of two evils. Now, people will say, well, it shouldn't be that way. Well, then you need to run. Then you run. Then you run. And give the people a better option. Sometimes you got to hold your nose and do a lot of shit as an adult. It's people going to jobs right now, and you can't stand no mofos on that job. But you ain't going to say that, are you? You're going to hold your nose and get them checks to pay them bills. That's the world of adults. It's no different when it comes to elections. You don't always get the best options. You get what you get, and you got to make a difficult choice. Sometimes it's chess, not checkers. Any chess players out there? Sometimes you make moves to block your opponent because you see your opponent is a move or two away from getting an advantage. Politics is no different. Please stop playing with grown folks like we dumb. We are not dumb people. We ain't going out like that. This is chess, not checkers. Everything is not oversimplified. Well, Biden said he was going to do this. You're right. But are you really paying attention to the nuance, the things that are really going on? Are you looking at the people that are proposing it? Are you looking at the people that are blocking it? That's what matters. You know what I'm saying? We got a little, if we're going to play this game called politics, we got to play this game called politics. And it's chess, not checkers. You're going to take it out in the midterms. We'll show them Democrats. Okay, you do that and see how that works. It worked great with Obama. He was surrounded by ops. The man couldn't even get Merrick Garland, who was his Supreme Court nominee. He couldn't even get a hearing. He couldn't even get a hearing. And he was the 2-time elected president. But y'all play that game if you want to. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to give you the results that some people think it might. But let me go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, brother Nate. What's going on, man?
I'm doing well, Daryl. Good morning to you, brother.
The last two calls are an example of Black cognitive dissidence. These guys are so cynical that out of Drop's mouth, he said, the Democrats, you hear Luke telling people, you know, they need to, and Tariq Nasheed, they don't need to vote in the midterms because we need to show the Democrats, you know, y'all need to cater to us. Bruh. And he knows this. I mean, Nate, he knows this, and he's disingenuous. Him and that other character that called you. They're disingenuous when they said it. I mean, the bottom line is, who's that going to help by not showing up? That's going to help us, like you just said. How's that going to help us? You know what's going to happen? Gun law, they'll do whatever they need to do with guns. Roe v. Wade might be out the window now, but it'll definitely be out the window. Oh, and all y'all that I'm going to get my reparations check. You can kiss that. Look, I'm going to cuss, okay? You can kiss that shit goodbye. They ain't going to support that. They ain't going to support it now with a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. The reason why Biden hasn't been able to get a lot of his agenda, he's done a lot of stuff. And I'm not going to go down here and list it because I refuse to play that game with people that are disingenuous, knowing what the Democrats have done up to this point. That extra $300 you were getting for the child tax credit, that came from the Democrats. The unprecedented funding for HBCUs, that came from the Democrats. That's two off the top of my head, man. They ain't done nothing for the Democrats. The Democrats tried to get through the domestic terrorism bill. Y'all talk about the Asian got the Asian hate crime bill. The domestic terrorism bill was drafted from the incident in Buffalo. Guess who stopped it? It wasn't the Democrats. So, lose me with that, man. And then this drop refers to Luke. Talking about Luke. Well, Luke got a form of people listening to him. Luke went up and look, I went to his spaces in the first 5 minutes because I didn't listen to the whole thing because I knew it was trash after the first 5 minutes. In his first 5 minutes, he was like, I don't know why Biden can't be like Trump and executive order everything through, right? Why didn't he do that for George Floyd? You know what happened with the executive, Nate, you know this. The executive order will only go so far as long as the president that ordered it is in power, in power. As long as his administration is in power. Secondly, the executive order can be challenged and overturned in court. You want to know the example? Remember that when Trump tried to issue the executive order on the Muslim ban? What happened after that?
Hit the courts, got overturned.
And it got overturned, didn't it? That's why you can't executive order everything to Luke Campbell, who don't know what the hell he's talking about. So why would you take advice from him? All he know about is popping coochie and writing lyrics. Man, it's so cynical.
Pop, 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 the
I mean, it is, man. It's it's so cynical listening to them. Then they're gonna talk about Tariq Nasheed, who's just pimping his people for his FBA group, and he's collecting millions of dollars, and they up there talking the same trash. Stuff drop is just the new black people. They disaffected. These voters, they ain't supporting the Democrats, and they gonna hold their breath, and they gonna wait for a reparations check from the Republicans. Are they out of their delusional minds? Yes, they are. I mean, the brazen lying, gaslighting, cynicism. I mean, that's why I don't go back and forth on Twitter, because when I smell it, when you going down that line of, well, the Democrats, you point up stuff, they've seen this stuff time and time again, and they look for reason. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time. You look it up. You so damn smart. And drop. Why are you going to reference Luke? Why didn't you tell Nate that Luke, or Uncle Luke, supported Marco Rubio against a black woman? Now, he might be trying to change that now, but he supported Marco Rubio, man. Why didn't he ask about that? What about that? Drop. And you always want to talk about polling. The last poll I checked, I think it was an ABC News poll that said, the idea is this is going to be a blowout election for the Republicans. The last poll I checked said that the Democrats is running neck and neck with the Republicans overall. So you better watch yourself, bruh. Or you're going to have to come in here hand on knee with your hat in your hand, ready to eat some crow. And then that law that was passed in Ohio, I just don't trust the Republicans. I think the smoke screen is sports, but this transgender thing is a way of outing people. Because you're dealing with, when you get into what kind of surgery or hormones, or, when you start determining what, if somebody went through a transgender procedure or they're going through that process at a young age. I mean, I get it that you don't want males competing with females or transgender females competing with females. I get that, but I'm suspicious of the motives, man. With the Republicans, it's always it's never what's on the surface. They use sports as a cover, but what are they? What are they up to? Because that's how they operate. You like, okay, here's the cover, but what's really behind it? And in terms of guns, these mofos want their guns, man, because they're about tyranny. They're about tyranny. And the short definition of tyranny is, if you don't look like them, they want to have a right to shoot your ass. You get it? And that's the truth. That is the truth. Bruh, I don't know if I have any left. I lost so many emotional, intelligent IQ points listening to them, and IQ points listening to them. We had to get. I mean, I know you set the track straight for the show, but listening to them two characters, man, the chop shop. Well, at least this part of the chop shop ain't having it. So, bruh, peace out. And, I'll always be lurking to check the fools.
Appreciate the call, Daryl. Take it easy, man. That's Daryl from Atlanta. Again, all opinions are welcome, and we can disagree. We ain't got to be disagreeable. Hey, we are not a monolith. People got all kind of different opinions, and I get it, but I want to give you my strong opinion. I don't want to try to dissuade you. I know with some people it can be that way. You hear the host has got a strong opinion. He's breathing fire. I'm not going to breathe it on you. I ain't trying to burn you. I just want to engage with you. You know what I'm saying? I've got strong opinions about some things. Good morning to you. Sean writes, Umar Johnson's rhetoric can be quite destructive concerning voting, but we still do not see a school from the brother. Say less, do more. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to hope the best. I'm going to continue saying what I say. I don't always agree with Umar Johnson. Anybody telling you not to vote is a smart, dumb cat. You shouldn't be listening to him on that particular issue. There might be some other issues in which they straight up 100% on. And, I haven't been watching his videos lately. I don't know where his school is. I'll stand by what I say. I have not donated. So there's only so much critique I can give, but I love the idea as I understand it, and I hope he's successful with what he does. I think that what he's trying to do, if he's successful, from what I understand, it could be really, really impactful. I do know he's struggling with some of the finances, and hopefully he'll find some people to help him. You know what I'm saying? Jasmine, hey, good morning, Jasmine. She writes, in a two-party system, we should be critiquing both parties consistently, and that's my thing. As a black voter, I'm critiquing all the parties, not just one, all of them. To me, that's far more intelligent. That's far more useful than just critiquing one party. Because that really, we got a two-party system. I mean, you got independence, but largely it's a two-party system. A critique of just one of them, it's almost like a tacit endorsement of the other one. So if we're going to be intelligent about it, we should be asking ourselves, what has the political system done for us, period? Which will lead to what I've said before. It ultimately leads to you pointing the finger back at yourself. Like, what are you doing? That's where all roads lead to you. I want to say every person in this audience is powerful. Every last one of you are powerful, whether you realize it or not. You got infinite power. You give me one man that just won't stop, that won't quit, and you can make a lot of noise. You can get shit done. You know what I'm saying? And don't let these people take your power away from you because of whatever, history or even racism. Yeah, we got some challenges, but we can deal with it. We can do it. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Black Russia, good morning to you, brother.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey, that transgender bill, I'm for it. Women shouldn't be, men shouldn't be becoming women and competing in women's sports. It's just unfair, flat out. If they got to inspect them, if they got to check things out, hey, a doctor could do that. I have no problem with it.
So you don't have a... So let me ask you this then.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, brother. I don't want to step on your toes. Go ahead and
No.
finish your flow.
Ask the question because this is engagement because I'm starting off with that statement.
Yeah, but I can see how it can be abused because from what I read from the bill, like if a parent thinks that there's some issue with the original gender of a student athlete, that could trigger the student athlete to have to go endure an internal and external genital exam. That's how I read it. And that is potentially abusive. Because for instance, that would mean that any accusation, let's say your kid is not transgender, but they've been accused. That means your kid now got to go get a genital exam because of the accusation. I don't know if I trust people with that kind of power dealing with student athletes.
As long as there's a medical professional doing the examination, I have no problem with it. We ain't just talking about no random coach, or we're not talking about, some random person on the other team who checks the person out. From my understanding, it's a medical professional who checks them out. So as long as it's a professional doing it, I ain't got no problem with it, man. The accusations, whatever. I mean, if the medical professional checks them out and they're cool, then they're cool.
So if you're the parent of a student athlete, let's say track and field, right?
Okay.
You're the parent of a student athlete that's not transgender, but your student athlete is world class. They killing the competition. Accusations come in about this person. Let's say you got a daughter. Accusations come in about your daughter's gender. You're okay with her having to submit to a external and internal genital exam just because somebody else is accusing your child of being transgender because they good at what they do? You okay with that?
As long as it's a medical professional doing it, I have no problem with it.
See, I got a problem with that.
Hey, babe, let them check you out. They don't think you doing what you're doing as a female. This doctor's going to check you out. And they go dust them. Let them know. As long as it's a medical professional, that's the caveat. It can't be no just random individual. If it's somebody who does this for a living, internal medicine, OBGYN, whatever. If they're doing it, then I'm cool with it. She ain't got nothing to hide. You got something to hide, then you might be apprehensive to a medical professional checking you out.
I hear you. I mean, the more I think about it, since student athletes have to get annual checkups, then just make this genital exam a part of the student
The
athlete
physical.
exam. To do it that way.
Right. That'd be cool. That would be great. You know what I'm saying? I have a daughter. She plays soccer. She's active. The medical professional want to check her out during the physical to make sure everything's on the up and up. We get something in writing. So I want to challenge it. Boom, I already got it.
I don't know. It's still something about it. It's just kind of creepy to me, but I guess these are the times we live in.
They're creepy. I mean, it's creepy in what way? If a medical professional's doing it, I don't see how the creepiness comes into it. I can see if it was a random coach or somebody like that who wasn't a professional wanted to check it out, then that's creepy as hell.
It's just creepy that another parent can be looking at a student athlete, which is essentially a child, and accusing them of not being a gender. It's just something about that. It don't sit well with me. And we're talking about minors. We're talking about children. I don't like it.
But it's happening. Nate. That's the problem. Like that girl, like the dude down in Texas, playing like a female, running track, dusting everybody in college. Come on, this stuff is happening, bro. And it's hard to tell, man. It's starting to get harder and harder to tell. You got to create some fairness.
Yeah, you're right. It is happening. I don't know if this is the best way to deal with it, though. I really don't. I don't know if this is the best way to deal with it.
Maybe not, but I mean, how else do you want to deal with it? I mean, you can't go by people's word anymore. People be out here lying. Men lie, women lie. I mean, like I said, as long as there's a professional involved with the examination, it should be cool. I mean, you ain't got nothing to hide. This doctor going to check you out. Or like you said, I agree with what you said. Just get it done during the physical and already have it laid out. So when somebody wants to challenge, I already got it laid out.
Okay. All right. Anything else, brother?
Yeah. It's not. I heard Daryl, and I didn't hear Drop, but I think you had said something that kind of like made my head scratch about critiquing two parties. Like if you're 90% of Black people who vote Democrat, so they can't effectively critique the Democrats. They can say whatever they want about the Democrats, but they'll vote for the Democrat anyway. So how effective is that critique? Doesn't make sense to me if you're not competitive with your vote.
Okay, you lost me. Could you reiterate that? I didn't quite understand what you just said.
Okay, so if 90% of Black folks are voting Democrat, how effective is their critique of the Democratic Party? They can say whatever they want about how much they hate the Democratic Party or what they're not doing right, but they're going to vote for them anyway. So, like, that critique is out the window. If you just straight vote Democrat ticket, I don't give a damn about the critique of the Democratic Party. You have no objectivity to me because you're going to vote exactly for what you critique. Nah, I'll save it.
I'm still struggling to understand your point, but
my point, I'll make it very clear. If you vote a straight Democratic ticket, then if you want to critique that Democratic ticket, it's ineffective. It makes no sense. You're critiquing something that you're still supporting. Like you can't affect no change if you're going to vote the way that you're critiquing. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's like criticizing. I'm trying to think of something. It's like criticizing Starbucks, for example, right? But you go to Starbucks every day. Like, how effective is your critique? It's not effective. You keep buying their coffee. even though you may think it's not the best.
I think I understand what you're saying, but I think that the overall issue is if you're a dissatisfied black voter, for me, your question should not be party specific. It should be about the political system in general and your role in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, too many people, when they get to belly aching about what politics have done from them, they've excluded what they've done, right? In terms of interacting with politics. And what I would say is, if you a dissatisfied voter, black, then the first question you should be asking yourself is, what are you doing? Primarily locally. Like, what are you doing? What can you do? You know, that's far more impactful than what any of the political entity parties are doing. That's my take on it. And so when I hear
I would
people
agree
with
with
these
that.
one party specific critiques, it sounds like they're either propagandist or the victim of propagandist, because ultimately all roads lead back to self. They all lead back to what are you doing or what are you not doing, in my humble opinion. Now, is it useful to critique the political party? Yeah, but do it across the board. And also ask yourself, what are you doing? That's what I would say.
I hear you. I hear you on that. I think what I mostly hear from some people, especially black folks, is that they want to critique the Republican Party only, even though they give no votes to them, at least at 90% anyway. But then when they want to critique both sides, like the Democrats ain't doing this, the Democrats ain't doing that, but you voting for them anyway. Like that's where you lose me at. Like you only vote Democrat, so why? So what does it matter you're critiquing the Democratic Party for? It makes no sense to me. You're still going to vote for them regardless.
Would you agree
They
that
don't have to
politics?
change.
Would you agree with when I say this, Black Russia, that politics is chess and not checkers? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever played chess before?
I play it, yes.
You play chess, so you understand that sometimes you make moves to block your opponent's advancements. Is that correct?
In some cases, yeah.
All right. And so politics is the same thing. Sometimes black voters are voting to block potential opposition or to block potential problems.
I don't see the correlation.
You don't see the correlation?
I get what you're saying.
I just walk. I just
don't see the correlation with that.
We just walk through this. What you mean you don't see the correlation?
Well, in terms of how people vote, usually you're voting for something. You're not usually voting against something.
No,
right?
No, that's not true. That's not true, sir, and you know that.
I think so.
No, sir, you know that. You know that. Politics is not all about voting for something. Sometimes you're trying to block something from happening because you can see once this person gets in power, we're going to have a big problem. And so you got to stop this individual from getting in office. And when we critiquing black voters, people act like all of a sudden that black voters are dumb. Black voters are not dumb. They understand what they're doing. Sometimes you got a baby problem and sometimes you got a major problem. And it is what it is.
Okay, would you say that was the case with Trump versus Biden?
I would say that was a case between Trump and Hillary. And I would say it was the case between Trump and Biden. Yes, there were a lot of black voters, I'm sure, who voted for Biden because they knew Trump was worse or they felt that Trump was worse.
And what about Hillary Clinton? What was the case with that?
Same thing. I held my nose and voted for Hillary. I wasn't no 100% Hillary supporter, but I certainly wasn't voting for
you have
Trump.
to be because you voted for it. No, you can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways, sir. You can't have it both ways. You can. As I said, you just admitted, this is chess, not checkers. Sometimes in chess, you make moves to block your opponent's position, their advancement. You can see that 2 or 3 moves down the line, if I don't stop what they're trying to do right here, they're going to checkmate me. Politics is the same way. And you know this. You know this.
I mean, the fact that look, I held my nose voted for Trump because I didn't want Hillary. But I was happy when I looked at back the 4 years, I was cool with Trump. But you know what? It got to be so crazy that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give Biden a chance. And he had Kamala and all that. So I voted for Joe Biden. I regret that, bro. I so regret that vote. I'm looking at what's going on right now. Why? Look what Gas is $5 a gallon.
Oh my
Inflation
gosh,
is through the
man,
roof.
what
What
does
are you
the
talking
president
about?
have to do with gas prices, sir? Can you explain that to us?
Are you serious?
What does the president have to do with gas prices? How does the
That
U.S.
he's not
president control
opening it up
gas
to-
prices?
He can get production going. Give back to the Keystone Pipeline. Drill, baby, drill. A lot of stuff he could do. We can't even get baby formula, bruh. That's all this president is
What does that
incompetent.
have to do
People
with the
talk about Trump.
president, sir? What does baby formula have to do with the president? How does a president
Supply
control
chain.
baby formula?
Supply chain, bro. He can open up the supply chain. What are you talking about? You want to just excuse him from all this stuff, man? Joe Biden is a total trash can, bro. I so regret voting for him. I always look at Donald Trump as a stopgap, okay? Between Hillary and him, I'm like, give me Trump. He only going to be there 4 years. All right, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, cool. We go with them, see what's going to happen, because I like the bad chick, Kamala. And we got disaster going on, bro. I so regret that vote. I so regret it. You would not even believe how much I regret choosing Joe Biden. Looking at what's going on, bro. He's going to be a one-term dude, bro. He's a one-term president. He is incompetent. His numbers are Trump got better numbers than Biden at this point. Look at the polls. Biden is crashing. Stock market, I lost like 1,000 in the stock market. Come on, man. Get him out of here.
What I don't understand, brother, and what just doesn't make any sense to me, is that you and I both know that the economic mood of the country can have a real impact on the way people vote in terms of the Congress and also the president. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Hell yeah.
Okay, then. So if I'm a U.S. president and I realize that, and I have any kind of control over gas prices, wouldn't I want to use my control to make them as low as possible so it would benefit the midterm elections and then my chances of re-election? Doesn't that make sense?
Not necessarily.
Huh?
Because not necessarily. Here's why. Here's why I'll tell you. Because Biden's going to appease a certain sector of his base who are environmentalists, who don't want them to drill, who don't want alternative energy. They're not doing anything, bro. Joe Biden is not doing anything. I just think he's crashing and burning, bro.
Sir,
we don't know what's going
your
on.
response does not make any sense to my question.
What do you mean?
That doesn't make any sense. What you just said, your response doesn't make any sense.
No, what you asked me is, well, if I'm the president, what I want to do everything I can to control the gas price.
Right. If I know that's going to benefit me politically. So why wouldn't, if Biden has control over gas prices and he understands that the economic mood of the country will impact his party's chances in the midterm elections and his chances for re-election in 2024, why doesn't he use his control to bring the gas prices down so it'll benefit him and his party?
Because he's incompetent, bro. Joe Biden don't even know today's Tuesday, bro.
And that answer makes sense to you. Sir, that doesn't make any sense. I think what makes more sense is, I think here's the nuance, and people don't like nuance because they want black and white. The reality is that oil prices and gas prices are a part of the global market that's impacted by a multitude of factors, like the pandemics, like inflation, like war, like OPEC, that are largely outside of the control of the U.S. president. That's the truth. But the truth don't sound as good as Biden just don't like people to have cheap gas for whatever reason. But that's the truth.
He could create more production, sir. He surely could do that. It may take a little while, but it's going to get the prices down. At some point, you got to look futuristically. He can't solve this tomorrow. I get that. But he ain't doing nothing to solve it in the future either. There's no plan. They're just willy-nilly every day. What are we going to do today, Kamala? But he's acting like there's no plan, bro. There's absolutely no plan to solve inflation. There's no plan to solve the gas prices. Total disappointment in Joe Biden. Totally.
Yeah, I mean,
and even the gun violence, that's all again smoke and mirrors with the gun violence. They ain't gonna never solve the gun violence ever. Nigeria just had somebody walk into a church and shoot up 50 people. That happened in Nigeria. Okay, I mean, this is what we're talking about here. All this, even the gun violence, man. Like they can't solve that. But he act like we can. We ban assault. Dog, banning assault rifles ain't going. There's too many of them already out here. So
you're telling me if they banned assault weapons? Wait. So you're telling me if they banned assault weapons, and then maybe the ban also means that we're confiscating assault weapons that are already out there, which again would never happen because this country, some of these people would try to cause a civil war. But you telling me that banning and confiscating assault weapons wouldn't have an impact on people's availability to get assault weapons? Is that what you're telling me, sir?
Actually, that.
Okay. You may be right about that, actually. You may be right. Anything else? Still there, Black Russia? All right, brother. Thanks
I'm still here. I wanted you to repeat the question. I didn't catch the question about assault weapons. You were saying.
I just asked a question about, and again, I almost answered it when I was asking, because this is
It's
America.
probably
This is a little
rhetorical.
bit different. But
Yeah.
I think that what we have found is that assault weapons, there's a reason why assault weapons keep turning up in the hands of mass shootings, because of their availability of access and the ability to kill a lot of people in a short time frame. So efforts to try to ban or to keep those kind of weapons out of the hands of individuals, I think are righteous. I think it makes sense. Now, this is America. If they say, hey, turn on your AR-15s, you and I both know people are not going to do it. Most people ain't going to do it. You're right about that.
They're not going to do it. I mean, that's the reality. That's why like this placating and stuff. What they need to do is, if you get caught with an assault rifle, give them 20 years. I bet that'll slow it down. People go out here and do that type of stuff. If they ain't taking themselves out, you got to hit them on the back end. You ain't going to stop them on the front. You got gun smugglers and all that. One more thing before I go. Yeah. You see LeBron James is advocating for Brittany Griner to get out?
Yeah, a lot of NBA players are doing it. They're doing these videos. I saw Carmelo Anthony did a video as well.
But you know what? They don't understand, and I hate to say this, but these guys are idiots. And I'm going to tell you why they're idiots for doing this. Because they don't understand the interplay between Russia and the United States. They just see a superstar basketball player and just say, hey, Joe Biden, by any means, get her out. They don't even understand what the means are. You know what Russia wants in exchange for Brittany Griner? Brittany Griner?
What does Russia want?
They want a weapon smuggler that we have over the United States that has been incarcerated, I think, like 6 or 7 years now. Like, basically, you're gonna give them a terrorist in exchange for Brittany Griner. They don't even understand it. They just say, get her out. Like, do you know what we have to give up to get her out of there? We have to give up a terrorist.
The Merchant of Death. I just looked it up. Russia wants Merchant of Death in exchange for Brittany Griner. Victor Bout.
Merchant of Death.
He sounds like the villain in the next Impossible Mission movie.
Right.
Victor Bout. That sounds like a Hollywood villain name.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys got such a big platform. They'll just say anything. Get Brittany Griner out of there. They don't even know the cost of it. They don't even know the cost.
Well, just because that's what Russia wants doesn't mean that's what Russia's going to get. And it also doesn't mean that her brothers in the NBA shouldn't be trying to put up a public response to try to get a public campaign to try to get her out. They can want whatever they want to want. Don't mean they're going to get it.
Right. But there's a way to do it, though. I think there's no strategy behind it. They just say, get her out by any means necessary. Like, that's not good public messaging. It's like people who are aware of what's going on hear that. Like, they could be saying something about Biden should be negotiating to get her out. Something like that. Don't be like, by any means necessary. Like, what? Like, nah, bro, they're going to get the Merchant of Death out. That's what Russia wants. It's nuts out here in these political streets, because it's just a lot going on. But yeah, give them the Merchant of Death for Brittany Griner. She shouldn't have been over there with no packs. How about that?
If in fact that's what happened, you're right. She shouldn't have been.
I mean, I can see if you was flying around the United States with that, but like, you in Russia? First off, what you doing in Russia? Like, your checks ain't that short at the WNBA for you to be playing ball in Russia.
Yeah,
and you should have got her there when they told you. I know she was playing ball, bro, but it wasn't that much. She's over there trying, they say, to supplement her WNBA salary.
Yeah,
but WNBA players are. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that's more of a commentary about the low pay that WNBA players get. They don't get paid on the same level as their NBA counterparts. So many of them in the offseason got to go overseas and make that money. I ain't mad at her. She got to do what she got to do.
But it's supply and demand. Look, it's supply and demand, though. WNBA is damn near unwatchable, okay? I've tried to watch it. Brittany Griner's playing, I might watch. You know, some of the other high-level women. But generally speaking, I don't watch that shit, man. It's not entertaining, okay? So they get paid for not being entertaining.
But millions of people do. I mean, there's an audience for everything. It may not be my cup of tea, but I'm not gonna shit on it just because I don't like it. Hell, I don't like Bridgerton on Netflix, but millions of people do. So there's a lot of people that like WNBA.
But I mean, enough to pay them the same money that the NBA players are getting?
No, obviously not. No, not at this time, but maybe soon.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe soon.
If they can get people in the stands, maybe. I mean, look at the women's national team for soccer. Now, that I can tell you right now, they deserve every penny they get that's equal to the men. I'll tell you why. Their product's way better.
Do people
and they're
watch
world
it?
champions. It's global.
Do
Yeah, hell yeah,
watch
people
it?
watch that. Yeah, people watch that. They watch women's international soccer, bro. We should see the stands down there at TQL when the women come to town to play. They damn near got the same population as when the men play.
Do you watch women's soccer?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, different strokes for different folks. You know, do I watch every WNBA game? No, but do I watch some highlights here and there? For sure, I do. Those are supreme athletes out there.
Yeah, well, we talk about the money though. That's the primary thing. Is like this equal pay for equal work and all that. That might work in an office. That might work in some other cases. But like generally in sports, like it's supply and demand. Y'all putting butts in the seats. So if not, then how's the viewership? If not, then it's all that plays.
Okay, brother. Appreciate your call. Anything else?
That's it, comrade. Waiting for Game 3 tomorrow.
Oh, it should be a lot of fun. I think the momentum's with Draymond Green. They're going to have to do something with him because it's unfair what he's allowed to do. And he's a very smart man.
Murder, don't he?
He knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He deserved, what was that, 2015 when he stepped over LeBron? He deserved to get that tech because there was an accumulation of techs that he acquired throughout the playoffs. That's on him. That was his fault. But what's happened is you got this mentality out there like, I want to stay the stars play. Listen, the rules are the rules, buddy. If you don't want to get a tech, then you do things that go up to the line that might qualify a tech. But he played very aggressively, and the refs allow him to do that because they're afraid to blow the whistle and get him thrown out. Because then people are being a media like Stephen A. Like, we pay to see the stars and not the refs. That should not allow him to do anything he wants to do on the court. But, that's championship level basketball. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was 2015. The question for LeBron winning them titles. Like if Draymond plays Game 6, does LeBron win the title?
Yes, they win the title.
We'll never know, but it puts the question out there.
They win the title.
I know you want to believe that, bro.
That's Draymond's fault, though. That's Draymond's fault.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's bullying the refs. He's bullying Boston. He's bullying everybody out there. Bully ball.
He can't. If I was a ref, I'm gonna do he can't bully me. If you cross the line, you cross the line. I don't care if you a star or not. Then chill. But he gets one tech, and then for the rest of the game, he can just go up. He can cross the line just a little bit over and over again because they're afraid to kick him out. I wouldn't be afraid to kick him out at all. You earn this, brother. I'm gonna do it fairly. Period. I don't care if you a star or a bench player. I ain't looking at you no different. This is basketball. So go out there and play. That's how I would do it. But thanks for the call, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, comrade. Take it easy.
Most def. We hit a multiple of topics. That was Black Russia. And I stand by what I say. Like, people keep trying to blame the president. Y'all tell me how the president is responsible for gas prices. And then you answer this question for me. If Joe Biden can control gas prices, then why don't he make gas prices go down? It'll benefit his poll numbers. It'll benefit the Democrat Party's chances in the upcoming midterm election. It'll benefit all of that. The reality is, and this is the nuanced answer, is that there are global factors in play that are outside of the control of the U.S. president. That's the reality. But that don't sound as good as blaming one person or another. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. Oil is part of a global market that is impacted by numerous factors, none of which Biden or Kamala or anybody in Congress can control per se. Nothing. But, you know, this is the games that's being played. You know, it's midterm election season. These are the games that are being played. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing well, brother. Who am I speaking with?
All right, Dante.
Hey, what up, Dante? Good morning to you.
I'm good. I just want to comment on this sports thing. And then I want to comment on the automatic weapon thing. The first thing with the athlete thing is, why don't we have this problem with women trying to play men's sports? Little girls trying to play boys sports. Why don't parents just understand that a lot of times when these little boys want to play with the girls, they're just not good enough. In most cases, they're just not good enough. They're bottom tier athletes competing with girls that they blow up to be number one, number two in the world. And I feel like no matter what happens, if they have surgery or whatever, their DNA doesn't change. They're still superior over little girls and women. They're still men. Like why didn't this stuff get simplified when it first came to surface? If you're born a man, you're a man. If you're born a woman, you're a woman. It's crazy. I mean, I know this is where we are, but I just don't understand it. I think things are so complicated now. Like, I mean, like Dave Chappelle said, one thing that's for sure, everybody on this earth came through the womb of a woman. I don't understand why this is so complicated and why everything has to be, like you said, chess, man, when it comes to dealing with gender. It was either born a man or a woman, man. I can identify as a frog, mate, but I'm a black man. I don't understand why this is so complicated nowadays. It's crazy, man. It's like this stuff is out of hand. You got, like, I watched the boxer dude, man. He's and one of the boxers, man, he beat the hell out of that girl, man. That's crazy. You're a dude. You're a boy, Damon. I get it, man. I just don't understand why things are so complicated and why everybody has to be right and everything has to be politically correct. This stuff is really simple, Nate. It's really simple. Either you have a vagina or a penis. You're a man or a woman. You can identify as what you want to identify. You could be a man that identifies as a woman, but you're a man. I don't understand why this is so hard. Why everything is so complicated. And then too, with the automatic weapon thing, what's funny to me is people saying, change the gun laws and take the AR-15s off the market. My thing is, how many black people own AR-15 and AK-47? We're not doing this. It's a bigger issue than gun control. So I think it's a mental health issue. It's a privilege issue. I know a couple brothers that own these weapons legally. That have CCWs that own these weapons, and they're not doing this. They're not shooting up churches and schools and grocery stores. Let's look at the bigger issue here. It's the same reason. Like if you're talking about gun violence, it's the same thing. Why white folks say, well, we're not killing each other on the streets. It's a bigger issue in both situations than gun control. It's a mental thing, something else. White folks are not the only people that own these weapons, but why are they the only people that's doing these crimes? You don't have Asian people not doing it, Africans, African Americans. Nobody's doing it but them. It's not a gun rights issue. I mean, like you always said, and a lot of people have always said, hey, no matter what gun law you put into place, if I want to go cause some destruction, I'm going to cause that destruction. No matter what the law is. You think I give a hell about the law? If I'm going to shoot up a grocery store, I don't give a damn about the gun law. It's just pacifying. That's all it's doing is pacifying, making it feel like somebody did something. I'm sure the gun laws we had today wasn't the gun laws we had 20 years ago. And the stuff is still occurring. No matter how much you change it, if this is what I want to do, if this is my mindset to do this, I'm going to do it. Today's AR-15s, AK-47s, you take them off the market, it'll be something else. Because that's what people want to do. It's a bigger issue than gun laws. That's what we need to be focusing on, not the guns. If I lay my gun on the table, it's not going to harm anybody. unless you touch it. It's not the gun laws, mate. It's the people. That's the issue that we're running from. We're running from the people issue, the mental issue. That gun ain't doing nothing to nobody. Those are not the only people that own those weapons, but yet they're doing those crimes. That's what we should be focused on. Have a good day, brother.
All right. Appreciate the flows, Dante. Brother got a lot of passion now. I appreciate it. I'm here for it. Listen, folks, that's my time. Got to make a move. I really appreciate you. Another word from our sponsor. Today's show was brought to you in part by our friends over at Wing Champ, the undisputed champion of all wings. Check out their menu. Very unique. They got everything you might be interested in. Might be looking for a good spot for lunch today. Maybe take a colleague out, or maybe for dinner. You can call ahead for pickup and or delivery. You can also get your Creamalicious ice cream at Wing Champ as well. And they are Black owned. They're out in beautiful Sharonville, Ohio. So check them out today. And when you do, let them know you hear about it. You heard about it on the Nathan Ivey Show. Means everything. With that, my friends, I'll leave you with our motto. Let's say it together. Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nate Ivey, and I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. Back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down, my roof leaving, don't give a I don't care. Did the for my loans, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, for the feelings I throw on my pen,